Hello friends, today I'm going to talk about Hindu power. Now, whenever Hindus come to power today, the media, some of the Indian and some of the foreign journalists want us to believe that Hindu power is dangerous. But if you look at the ancient times, whenever Hindu had powers, whether it is the last Hindu kingdom, Vijayanagar, or whether in the ancient time, Ashoka or, Chandragupta, Hindus ruled, in a very secular manner. They allowed all religions to flourish under their rule. They were benevolent rulers, they encouraged art, paintings, and sculpture. And though wars were fought, they were fought in a dharmic, in a correct manner. In the daytime, taking care not to, damage the crops of the farmers or to kill innocent people. It is when the first Muslim invasions happened that, when this power was challenged, that the rules were changed. That the story of Prithviraj, how he forgave Gauri three times, and Gauri broke all the rules and finally conquered, Prithviraj and then blinded him and ultimately killed him. So the Hindus had power for a long time, and this power was benevolent. It was not a bloody power. It was not a monotheist power. It was a power that believed that God takes many faces and manifests at different times with different names, using different scriptures. And hence the Hindus, whether they were kings or innocent people, and it's still true today, respect all religions, respect whoever you are. Of course, the Hindus lost power. We talked about the last great empire, that of Vijayanagar, which was a very, very benevolent and very beautiful rule. If you go to Hampi today, you can still see how widespread it was, how artistic it was, how many statues and temples all carved in the rock, and there still remains an atmosphere, of grandeur, of something that was grand and generous and beautiful. Every statue has got its nose and ear chopped by the Muslim invaders, but they still retain their beauty. It's amazing, actually. If you've not been to Hampi, you should go to Hampi and feel what is Hindu power. But the sack of Hampi was so bloody that historians have said that the river ran red for days and days. There were hundreds of thousands were massacred. And every soldier, every Muslim soldier, went back with a loot for several generations. So Hindu lost power for many, many centuries, because not only the Muslims, then the British came and the French came, they were colonized, and it's only in 1947 that India gained independence. Now, the Hindu power didn't come back immediately. It came back only with Mr. Vajpayee in 1999. Now, when the Hindu got power, two phenomena happened. The first one is that the entire intelligentsia, the entire media started crying foul. That under the Hindus, they who were the most tolerant people in the world, they who have accepted, every invasion, every invader, and assimilated them. That Hindu power was dangerous. That the BJP, because Hindu power today is represented by the BJP, though they tend to deny it, that the BJP was a very dangerous government, communal government, and thus all kind of more or less fake incidents were created, church burnt, I remember I was covering India at that time for the French paper Le Figaro, one of the largest paper in France. And my paper sent me to a place called Jabwa in Madhya Pradesh, where nuns were supposed to have been raped by, Hindu militants. It turned out that they were raped by, tribals, and some of them Christian tribals. Even the Bishop of Indore admitted it, but too late. The damage was done. Till today, it's still believed, that the nuns of Jabwa were raped by Hindu militants. So two things happened. One, the media intelligence started, crying foul, and the Hindus seem to be scared of power. It is still true today of the government of Mr. Modi. They got back the power again. The media and the foreign journalists started crying foul and saying Mr. Modi is a dangerous man. Gujarat riots, etc. But the BJP today seems scared of the power it has. And yet, again, whenever Hindus got power, they've been benevolent, they've been harmless. They've said, oh, we all brothers. Mr. Modi went overboard also. Oh, we all brothers and sisters, come, Amir Khan, come and visit me. I'll go to that marriage of that cricketer, and every time a Dalit raises his voice, I'm going to cry for him. So this raises the question, are Hindus scared of power? And yet, Hindu power would be the best for India, because with that power comes the knowledge, that we accept everybody, we accept every community. The world is one family. This is a very Hindu concept. The world is one family. And we want to unite with our brothers and sisters of the world. And we believe in karma. We believe in dharma. We believe that good dharma means good governance. And that we should take counsel from wise people, whether from whichever community they come or whichever religion they come. So is Hindu power going to last? Because some of us are asking the question: is Mr. Modi going to retain the majority he had in 2019? It is important. I think Mr. Modi is a great chance for India. He's a simple man, come from a lower caste. He's totally uncorrupt. His brother is still running a ration shop in Gujarat. He doesn't want anything for himself. He lives a simple life. His entire time, and he sleeps only 4 hours a night. Entire time is devoted for the welfare of India. But he himself seems to be scared of that power. And the first power is, I am a Hindu. There is no shame in being a Hindu. Mr. Modi should not be ashamed of being a Hindu. It's one of the greatest people in the world. One of the long-lasting people. They've suffered so much, Hindus, and yet not only they kept their faith, but also they kept their tolerance. Now, Mr. Hindu is a representative. The Hindus elected him. The Hindus from the Dalit to the Brahmins have elected Mr. Modi, and they have certain expectations of him. Of course, they expect him to be the Prime Minister of all Indians, and Mr. Modi has proved that he's the Prime Minister of all Indians, whether Dalit, whether Muslim, whether Christian. He's proved it. But they also expected him that they, who have become a minority in their country, though they're the overwhelming majority, some of their problems are addressed, like their temples, which are being taken over by the government. We see what's happening with Ayappa now, and the Kerala government, which is a communist government. The communists don't believe in religion. They think religion is an opium to the people. So they don't go against Islam because they're scared, and they're allies of Islam, in Kerala, political allies. But they go against Hindus because Hindus are easy people to go against. They don't retaliate, they don't burn anything, they don't kill, they don't riot. So of course they're going after Hindus. So Mr. Modi needs to prove that he needs to give back to the Hindus who elected him. If he doesn't do that, he's not going to get a united Hindu vote in 2019 like he got in 2014. So not only the Hindu temples, free them from government control, but in Kashmir, 400,000 Hindus were chased out of Kashmir. They want to go back to the country. And yet we see that the situation in Kashmir has worsened. Mr. Modi's gamble to have a, joint government with the PDP in Kashmir backfired. Kashmir has become more radicalized than ever. It's a boiling point now. And then you have, of course, the common civil code. Why should Hindus, not have the same right as Muslims? We can marry several times, and have their own courts, Sharia courts, And then you have so many things. The temple, the Ram temple in Ayodhya, is a very ancient temple. Even the British speak about it, that the ruins behind the mosque, are ruins of several, Hindu temples. So it is normal that the Hindus want a temple on the site of their one of the most holy gods, Ram, one of the most revered persons in Hinduism. Mr. Modi has not fulfilled all of this. Is he afraid of power? Are the Hindus afraid when they come to power? This is a question that all of you need to ask yourself, because power comes from the people. You are the people. So you need to empower Mr. Modi. You need to have your voice heard by Mr. Modi. And I think he does try to listen to the voice of people. So it's important that you talk around you and say that whenever Hindus had power, it was a dharmic power. It was a benevolent power. It was a power that accepted diversity. So it's very important to do that. And it's very important also, once you make your voice heard, and Mr. Modi has heard it, that you vote again for Mr. Modi in 2019, because he's the best hope for India on all levels, not only for the Hindus, but for the Muslims, for the Christians, for the economy, for a world status for India to become the knowledge that spread into the world, as Swami Vivekananda, Sri Aurobindo, and Sri Sri Ravi Shankar have said. Namaste.